Hi everyone,
I'm Brooke,
I am Astrid.
and today we're going to be talking about the digestive system.
Only carb can go through the process of chemical digestion in the mouth. This solitary enzyme breaks the carb and makes starch into maltose.
All other foods go into mechanical breakdown. It then goes through the bolus, which is a ball-like mixture of food and saliva that forms in the mouth during the process of chewing. From there, it goes to the esophagus, through the cardiac sphincter to the stomach.
Cardiac sphincters stop food and stomach acid to go back to the mouth, and thyroid sphincter is between small intestine and the stomach, where it provides enough time for stomach to break down food by muscle move and break down proteins.
Gastric glands produces gastric juice, which are activated enzymes, which is, for example, pepsinogen into pepsin. The individual folds of the stomach is called the rugae, which is not only to help do mechanical breakdown, but has also helped the absorption of nutrients in the small intestine. From pepsinogen to pepsin. That also makes the food acidic, and the mucus protects the HCl digestive stomach wall.
After the process of breaking down food, especially proteins to peptides, an acid chain, a smaller function of the food is produced.
Through the stomach to the pyloric sphincter, it enters the small intestine to the first part called the duodenum. The duodenum is the part where chemicals enter the small intestine. The gallbladder is where the bile is produced by the liver, and from the pancreatic duct of the hydrolytic enzymes produced in the pancreas. Bile is used to break down fat to fat droplets. Hydrolytic enzymes include pancreatic amylase, where it breaks the rest of the starch to maltose. Trypsin, which is the active form, or trypsinogen, which is the non-active form, break protein to peptides. Lipase breaks down the fat to fatty acid and glycerol.
When all of the chemical goes into small intestine, the mechanical breakdown and nutrient absorption starts. When small intestine go to the second part, jejunum, and the third part, ileum, these are basically the major part to absorb nutrient with villi, the finger-like structure that increases the surface area of small intestine. Inside the villi, there are blood vessels and lymph vessels.
Blood vessels are absorbing the smallest part of the nutrition, like the monosaccharide for the smallest part of the carb, the nucleotide for the smallest form of nucleic acids, and the amino acids as the smallest function of protein.
Only work for a lymph vessel is to absorb fatty acid, smallest function of lipids, either saturated like butter with no double chain in between carbon, or saturated fatty acid like olive oil. Ileum is for absorbing leftover nutrients, vitamin, and move to the next part.
When most of the nutrients are absorbed, the food finally goes into the large intestine, where it only absorbs vitamin K, amino acids, water, and growth hormones like gastrin, secretin, CCK, and GIP. The rest of the waste goes into the anus and moves out of the body, controllably first stored in feces until the elimination. Assume we are eating a burger, and it is made with bread, beef, egg, and cheese, and we digest them all differently. Let's first talk about the protein. An egg is a good representation of protein. When we eat eggs, our mouth first breaks it down to small pieces, and it enters through the stomach by the esophagus. In the stomach, the active form of pepsin breaks down proteins into fragments called peptides. Trypsin also does the same work as the pepsin, but it is produced by the pancreas and is an enzyme sent into the duodenum from the pancreatic tube. The liver regulates distribution of the amino acids into the rest of the body. Protein digesting enzymes are secreted from the pancreas into the small intestine. Amino acids are then absorbed from the small intestine into the bloodstream. In the small intestine, a variety of enzymes break large peptides into smaller peptides and then into individual amino acids. Proteins are digested further in the large intestine by bacterial enzymes and surviving pancreatic peptides. They then go into the anus, where a small amount of dietary protein is lost into the feces.